Happy hump day, everybody. It's Wednesday, June 29th. It's pretty much July, and we have a lot to talk about today. I have not only my glass of rosé, I have my bottle of rosé, and I might need a little bit more than just one glass. So I encourage you to pull up with whatever your beverage is, and let's just get into the things that we need to discuss. I have the topic listed. We're going to be talking about the elimination of the Knicks City Dancers as we know it. On that note, I'm going to drink. I've never had this one. Okay. All right. It's not bad. Okay. I was trying to give people a chance to join, but whatever. We're just going to get into it because this is just disturbing. All right. So, y'all ready? Okay. So, maybe, yes, what had happened? Hi, Chuck. We're going to get into it. As far as I know and what I'm able to share, it's killing me not to be able to spill all the tea. I'm trying to wait until it is public to be able to say certain things, but y'all, it's a little bit of a mess. Okay, so I'm not going to delay. I'm just going to give a little plug. Today's episode is out. It's called Keep On Moving. I interviewed Jackie Cagle. I hope it's Kegel. Kegel. Damn it, Jackie. Jackie. Cagle. You guys, my mind has been nothing but Knicks City Dancers at the moment. I'm surprised I didn't say Jackie Knicks right now. Anyway, Keep On Moving. It's an incredible episode featuring our interview and discussion of Dance Team Central, just her career. We had a great time. I encourage you to listen to that episode. My dog is going to behave for this whole live session. So, anyway, that's out of the way. A little housekeeping. What had happened? Y'all ready? Let's just get into it. I was starting to prepare cheer chats to talk about not just NFL, but NBA, right? And, you know, didn't even really get around to it just yet to go check out the Knicks City Dancers website. But somebody sent me uh, the Knicks City Dancers Instagram page, and all of the posts were white, zero posts. I forget how many followers they have, but no posts. And she's like, "Do you know what's going on with this?" I was just getting down my list. I go to the Knicks City Dancers website, which PS used to not even be updated since like 2018, 2019 team. I always think that's a bad sign when the teams don't invest in their websites and keep you up to date and give you real estate to talk about what you're doing. You only rely on social media for that. It's kind of whack, but whatever. Um, Yes. Hi, Kayla. I was just going to be mentioning you. Stay tuned for that. I have notes all over the place. Thank you so much for joining and congrats on the BET Awards. That was just ridiculous. So proud of you. Anyway, see, I'm going to be all over the place. Let me just sip, okay? Because I'm about to read the statement on the Knicks City Dancers page. Pardon me as I look this way. The Knicks City Dancers have always set the standard, broken the mold, and transcended stereotypes when it comes to traditional NBA dance teams. This coming season will be no different, dot, 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 except that it will, exclamation point. Under the creative direction of Fatima Robinson, its credits include Super Bowl, oh God, it's Roman numerals, the last damn Super Bowl halftime show, the 2021 Grammys, Beyonce's performance at the Oscars in 2021, the Dreamgirls, the movie. I have more on her background coming up. The Knicks City Dancers will be presenting a totally, sorry guys, pause for the cause, I guess, my connection, whatever. My connection's fine. Cut it out, Instagram. We'll be presenting a totally reimagined version of what it means to dance center court at Madison Square Garden. Check back soon for the latest on the Knicks City Dancers. Fatima is the GOAT. Okay, I completely agree. I'm going to get into Fatima's it's not even her career is incredible. I want to be like through the moon, like over the roof, over the moon, through the roof. God dang, this is pretty good rosé, I guess. I wanted to be extremely excited about this with no ifs, ands, or buts about it, just because of who she is. Um, I've known who she is for a very long time. I can't wait to get into her career and background. But we're going to kind of go step by step because there's layers to this. Yes, Alyssa. Okay, yes, let's just get into it. Alyssa is the GOAT. Let's talk about what the statement just that I just read means. Okay, let's take it piece by piece. So first of all, Knicks City Dancers, as we know it, white. When teams do this, when they go in this direction of, hey, we want to do something brand new that's never been done before, breaks mold, transcends this, that, and the third, what they tend to do is just completely wipe out 20 plus, 30 plus, I think in this instance, 30 years of tradition of a program, like it never meant anything. And they erase it, just delete everything. That's not funny or cute. And that's what happened here. And I just think we need to take a moment to pause on that because just that act alone is just, I think, highly disrespectful to the women of the program, to the program itself. Like, it's just not necessary to do it that way. Like, it freaking drives me insane. Go your next direction. Change what you want to change if you want to change it. But, like, why do you have to just erase what Knicks City Dancers have been for the past 30 freaking years? You guys, there's probably going to be cursing. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to keep up with the comments. Just bear with me. I get all hyped and then I'm just, all over the place. And don't let me miss a comment. I'm so sorry if I do. Somebody says, Fatima is a legend, interested to see how she approaches the pro team dance world. I am too. Um, I am too. I wonder if this is damage control for something that happened behind the scenes. Okay, let's just get into that because I've been following the space for the past almost 4 years. And typically, when there's a huge programmatic change, it's because there's some scandal that pissed off somebody in management, and then they decide, or it's just some mess, some cleanup on aisle three, and then somehow the women become the scapegoat for it all, and you kill the program, and then it just turns into a brand new team that's doing this and that and is more family friendly. We don't see any of that messaging here in this statement, but this is a pretty sweeping change. The little bits I'm getting behind the scenes of what's really happening. So anyway, we'll get into who Fatima is and why this is pretty exciting and why she's legendary, who she is, all of those things in a minute. Um, People are just saying that the team itself is legendary. The Knicks City Dancers, and we'll get into that. They're an incredible, talented, dope ass group of women. Like, I don't understand. Okay, whatever. Here we go. Just getting through y'all's comments, and then I'll keep going. This trend of eliminating programs of tradition in pro cheerleading is heartbreaking. Absolutely agree. Not saying it was. I'm with the comment about the scandal. Yes, we don't know if there was a scandal. You know what I'm saying? Maybe somebody, you guys, this past week, okay, in terms of women and where we are right now, I'm all over the place, like emotionally. So if I go on some women rants and how women have been treated, and just know it's all freaking connected, okay? But like, the fact that a lot of these changes come about that impact women in this manner, it's because of the lack of respect that men show for these women. So I don't know if there isn't a management issue or not. I will say that a year ago, when I was following the Knicks City Dancers auditions process, um, it was a little peculiar that they had added a couple of women to the team after they had already formed the team. And a little birdie had told me that someone in management, I don't know who specifically or can't remember, didn't like the look of the dancers and basically was like, go fetch some more. That's what I had heard. I mean, is a little bit of a red flag if you ask me. So maybe there are issues that we don't know about. If you guys want to reach out to me on the low and tell me what's what, I mean, happy to support because this is some bullshit. I don't know how the Knicks City Dancers could be feeling. They found out 2 weeks ago. Let's just get into like how they were treated, what they found out. I'm gonna read some comments, and y'all just gonna have to bear with me. Like I said, I feel like this means it's turning into a family entertainment group. I don't know. They didn't give any hints to like what vibe they were going for. I didn't pick up like this is going to turn into a hip hop crew vibe. I didn't see any of that, but I'll give you what I know about what they have communicated and what it's going to look like after I take a sip. Let's just give shout outs though. Let's shout out to Alyssa, shout out to each of the Knicks City Dancers, shout out to everybody who was wanting to audition for this team. NBA auditions are happening, this month in July. And so this changes a lot for a lot of people. And everything that I'm about to say just breaks my heart for you. And so, with that said, the little birdies in the world have told me that They will be moving in the direction of some hybrid model where they have like 8 influencers, okay, social media ish influencers, and there will be a few backup dancers. Absorb that. What does that mean? I don't freaking know. 8 social media influencers. There was a suggestion that they were wanting people who had a large following. Okay. Right. What is that? How is that part of our world? Like, that's not part of our screening of like our applications, is what does your social media following look like? But that's the word on the street, okay? That there would be a few backup dancers. You're going from having Knicks City Dancers, who are the main attraction. Not okay, maybe the Knicks should be the main attraction with their losing record, but they're not. I mean, you have the Knicks City Dancers, the Knicks City Kids performance group that are main attractions in terms of game day entertainment. But whatever they're doing to the Knicks City Dancers, they're going to be backup dancers potentially. Okay. The current girls were told that they could submit a video to be considered to be invited to the private audition. Okay. But there wouldn't be any guarantees that they would be invited to audition. So now it's not even a matter of like, hey, current Knicks City Dancers, um, you get to work with the amazing dope ass Fatima Robinson. You audition like you would normally do. Maybe the format of the audition changes, but you would have an opportunity to be a part of this team. Nope, that's not how it's set up. It sounds like it's almost like maybe through an agency or something, but you can submit a video and then they decide if you would receive an invitation to audition privately. I'm gonna drink again. And y'all are popping off in the comments, so I'm gonna come over there and read them. Is that a game changer or what, though? Everything that I just said? Crazy. All right. Somebody said, what? You lost me. I know, girl. I'm lost too. I don't get what the hell's happening. And we're just going to sort through it together. Like I said, as soon as I can say more, I will say more, but it makes zero sense. Okay. So many teams are turning to that hype squad, all encompassing entertainment group, and it's disheartening, especially when the Jets have been put on pause as well. I feel for our New York cheer hopefuls. Yes. That is definitely a point that I was making to what's left in the New York City area now that the Jets have been essentially put on hiatus for a year. They've been around since 2006, and you're just going to have that hard stop interruption in the program so that you can do what? I don't know, come up with a crew or something. I'm not sure. You have the Brooklyn Nets, which obviously, in terms of style, this is what was so beautiful about New York, you guys. I mean, there's the Rockets. Some people have that as a dream, right? You have the Knicks City Dancers, you have the Brooklyn Nets, and those two different NBA teams have like just very distinct styles, you know what I mean? And they were dope in their own right. And so many people have written in about how the Knicks City Dancers are one of their favorite teams. They're so clean with technique, super entertaining. I love the Knicks City Dancers and all of like their versatility in terms of performances. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on. Um, but it drives me crazy that this talented group of like 20 plus women don't even have the opportunity to audition for whatever this influencer hybrid backup dancer bullshit is. I'm saying it's bullshit. This has nothing to do with Fatima. Don't have Fatima come for me. I have so much respect for this woman, so it's hard. This is more of whatever decision that management made that this was the direction that they needed to go. Not in hiring Fatima, but dismantling the team and disregarding them in terms of their ability to take part in the audition process even catching up on comments. See, I'm all over the place. This is why I make notes, y'all. And then when the comments come, I get all excited and I'm responding, and then we're all over the place. But whatever, keep trying to follow me. Somebody said, so they basically just need content for reels. Social media, it's such the little devil sometimes. It's hard out here being a New York dancer. It must be not an influencer show, someone says. Yes, I think that's what. And I don't even know what the hell that means. I mean, okay, we'll get to that. So the real dancers are going to be the backup dancers to the influencers. I'm not sure I'm understanding. What are the influencers doing even? I don't freaking know. You guys, I wish I could just share some of the little rumors that I'm hearing of what those influencers or what this little hybrid group of people will actually be doing, but We have to wait. These dancers are too talented to be backup dancers. And what are the influencers even going to do? So, you guys, I'm not on TikTok and I do follow a lot of the dancers that are like maybe like commercial dancers, industry dancers, just because I see them perform and I'm like, who is that? And they shout them out and I'm like, okay, I'm following her. She killed it, blah, blah, blah. But and I know on the industry side, there is a little bit more concern around like your following. Like you have to do so much more to market yourself if you're dancing in that space. I learned a lot from Kayla in our interview. Go check it out. It's called Got the Moves or She Got the Moves or whatever. But anyway, she broke down this whole transition from being a pro dancer on the team side, right? Dance team side, and making the transition to being in the commercial industry. Um, but it's just like, I don't really understand now what the influencer market in terms of the TikTok videos, the D'Amelios and Charlie, some people that I hear about, but I'm not clocking it and I'm not really checking it. There are other examples and probably better examples of people who are really talented dancers, TikTok dancers. I don't want to try to like create all these little areas of distinction and division between us, but like maybe they're trained too. Maybe they're just as equally qualified. I don't know. But what the hell does influencing have to do with shit? We'll find out. We'll talk about it. I'm going to keep reading and keep drinking. Absurd and sad. All the amazing dancers in New York, and they want IG influencers to put on a show. Okay, I don't get it. Um, Somebody says I'm depressed. I mean, this week, you guys, has made me really, like I said, emotional and depressed, and that's why I have a bottle of freaking rosé, and we'll be drinking. And I have YouTube comments to get to too, so bear with me. I especially think of all the women who have been prepping and preparing for auditions. Yes, yes, it's really hard to how locked and loaded we get, right? When it's audition season, you map your whole life around, you're stalking the page probably for audition information. You are ready to put your best self that you've been prepping for, not just last week or whatever, but months and months for. And to have this kind of news drop, um, it's devastating. I mean, extremely devastating. I'm shook. KCD are the epitome of a clean, polished, and professional team. Agreed. Um, Yes, go watch it. I don't know if you're talking about your episode, Kayla, but yes, go back and listen to that episode. I think it's going to be playing into a lot of what we're talking about today. Um, and you should probably be aware of all the jewels that Kayla dropped in that episode. This is so sad. The Knicks City Dancers are so iconic. Influencers are not dancers. Okay, well, let's say it stronger then. I mean, I don't know. So I wasn't trying to like put anybody down or like say you're over there and we're over here. But from the moves and the dances that I see on TikTok that are trending, I don't see it's not the same. Let's just say that. It's not the same. I'm not saying they ain't dancers, but it is not what we do. But dancers can be influencers. That is true. People are agreeing with that statement. And whoever's watching, that's why it's important to not only focus on being on a team if you are pursuing a professional career. You should train really hard to diversify yourself. Um, okay, these comments, maybe I don't need to say shit. I'm just reading them. Okay, but to me, it's like, what are the influencers doing at games and events and whatnot? Like, I understand for social media, but otherwise, like, what are they doing? I completely agree as an entertainer, so that when things like this do happen, we aren't backed into a rough spot. Woo! I got through the comments, y'all. Let me get to YouTube, and then I'm gonna try to like focus my little brain because this will kick in at some point. I have definitely thoughts to share. Please keep talking to me though. I will try to keep up with it. This is really important conversation. I want to hear from you. These are all points that are all up in my notes too, and we're just gonna take our time and get through it. Okay. Hi, Kim. I follow Fatima for a long time. She's awesome, but this sounds like they're going to make it a high school musical. Oh, whoa, okay. They're going to make it more like a high school musical or make it harder for certain people to audition. It sounds like the Brooklyn Nets can see an increase in their audition hopefuls. Yes, that's probably going to be a really interesting audition process for them because they have a very unique, specific style and audition process. And Knicks City Dancers, I think, is just probably very different than what they do. I know they both have agencies involved to some extent in their auditions process, but different styles, different vibes for those two teams. And I think if people try to, show up for Brooklyn Nets when they really were more fitted for Knicks City Dancers, it might not, you know what I mean, go as well. Um, or maybe they're going to have another dance reality show. I don't. Wait until you guys really freaking hear what they're freaking doing. I hate that I can't say anything. Um, I miss you too. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, y'all. Let's just get into some of these little notes and because I got a lot to say. I mean, a lot to say. All right. We got the 8 influencers, we got the background dancers, and we have a private audition that you may or may not receive an invite to. Maybe they are reaching out to dancers through agencies, but 8 people from like 20 plus dancers down to 8. Let's talk about that, shall we? Um, but no. Let's talk about Fatima first, okay? For people who don't know, who are like, who the hell is Fatima? Here's a little primer. I'm not professing to be knowing all of her stats, but she's pretty damn. I mean, this woman is more than qualified. I'm really curious as to how she was selected and how she piqued an interest in moving into this pro sports space. But like they mentioned in their announcement, she's done the Super Bowl, this most recent Super Bowl halftime show with Dr. Dre. She also did a Super Bowl show, halftime show with Black Eyed Peas and Usher. I didn't even remember them being together in a halftime show, but apparently it happened. She's done the Grammys performances, Kendrick Lamar. She did Beyonce's performance at the Oscars. She's done Dreamgirls. She's done The Wiz live in terms of choreography. Say the Last Dance. She's okay. Maybe this is bigger because to me this was like epic. She did Remember the Time, you guys, the Michael Jackson video, the epic. Who know? Everybody knows the choreography to Remember the Time. She was 20 years old when she choreographed that piece, working with Michael Jackson at 20 years old. Like she's freaking amazing. Aaliyah's Rock the Boat. She did like Fergie's, I mean, in Black Eyed Peas, different videos for them. The Backstreet Boys tour. What else do I have up in here? Just Broadway productions. Like she's done a lot. And this woman has a super diverse like portfolio of work. It's not like she's a one lane wonder kind of a woman. She's done a little bit of everything. So do I think that she can come into the pro sports world, even if it's not like her lane, and do something remarkable? Yes. If I were betting money on somebody doing something that I probably would maybe like to see, yeah, I give her the nod of like, let's see what happens. It's the concept and details that I cannot share with you that right now that I'm just like, I would much rather have seen her work with the women who make up the Knicks City Dancers because that could have been like lights out phenomenal. But we're down to 8 people and some backup dancers and some freaking influencers. So I don't know what she's going to do with all of them, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm going back to comments now. People are saying, yeah, shouting out her work. Um, just that she's the goat. She really is dope, you guys. Look her up, okay? Um, my assumption is that the team is trying to tap into that market, maybe kind of like this younger social media, influencer market. I do have notes on that too. Um, but let's see. Yes, Coming to America, the most recent one, right? If I'm not mistaken, or the original. I can't remember. Probably not the original. I don't know. Whatever. She's got creds. Look at her credits. Look at all the things that she's done. She is extremely talented, a mother. She just has this vibe about her. Like, I dig. She did get a little embroiled in a little controversy with this last Super Bowl in terms of them not paying the dancers properly. She was the halftime choreographer, and there was a whole controversy. Look that up. I'm not going to get into it, but all in all, she does seem to be a phenomenal woman, creative mind, etc. So being under her creative direction can really be fabulous. I don't know what they're going to be paying this woman for her to turn down actual industry work to focus on one team and to kind of go through an NBA season. I'm not sure if she's going to try to straddle both worlds, but this should be a pretty penny for her contract to have her focus on this specific job. But we'll see how that goes. People are saying, "Wow." But then it's like hire influencers to be in an arena host. Oh, to be in arena hosts and keep the dance teams intact, or give the dancers the resources to promote themselves and the org. Yeah, release a lot of these restrictions you have on how they use social media and promote the fact that they dance for your team. Allow you guys to kind of build that same following. I really hope we don't move that direction though, you guys, in terms of like on your freaking audition application, how many followers do you have on Instagram or TikTok? Like, really? Is that what we're looking at? Please, I hope not. Not unless you guys are getting paid differently, okay? Okay, I'm just on a good one. All right. Social following should not override talent. I hear you, Chrisia. No, because what does that have to do with anything? Like, I mean, it's great for people to be out there in social media land, dancing, putting out content. And they're, like I said, maybe very talented, but it's just talent that's put to the test of an actual professional dancer who dances for a team in the NBA, 44 freaking home games of the season, plus more if you actually make it into the postseason. This is a different kind of a job. This is not the typical industry job. Okay, now I'm on a tangent. All right. But this is in terms of giving respect to the type of work that you guys do. You guys are not industry dancers where you rehearse one performance that's done, one and done, or maybe on a tour where you're doing the same performance, maybe with some changes, but the same performance night after night. You guys are putting out different routines once, maybe twice, three times a game, halftime performances at times. This is a very intense uh, job. And in addition to that, you are charged with being ambassadors, being out in the community, doing appearances, speaking for the brand, doing all the social media shit. Like, this is a lot, and you're not paid as you should be. So, like, when you think about just plucking a freaking influencer who's like, what are we doing? And I'm going to get into, from even from a business perspective, how this doesn't make any effing sense, or at least I'm not following the logic. Let me just follow my notes. I'm so bad. Okay, I'm on a tangent and then I keep going. You've been spitting facts this whole time. Oh, Vanessa's been spitting facts this whole time. Yes, she has. I'm trying not I don't know if you guys want to be called out. That's why I don't say names, but yes, Vanessa, you have been spitting the facts and keep it going. I love how you guys are talking to each other in the comments. Um, let's see. The dancers were paid. I must have missed something. Oh, they were paid. Yes. With the Super Bowl, you guys, I'm not trying to misrepresent facts. I'm not giving a full blown recap. It was initially some discrepancies around volunteers versus people who were being paid, and it got cleared up eventually, but there had to be a stink raised, and that's what happened. And go look it up if you want to. The dancers were hired as SAG dancers were paid appropriately, not inappropriately. The fight was around the volunteers not being paid, but asked to attend rehearsals. That's the Super Bowl issue in a nutshell. Like I said, feel free to look it up. If they are doing everything for a better social media presence, why don't they just start with actually having a social media presence? Influencers will only attract certain people. And that just drives to the point of like, who are the Knicks as a target market actually trying to reach out to with this type of shift? I have a whole shit ton of notes just on that topic alone, just to make this all make sense. Like, make it make sense. It doesn't add up. Um, and those certain people aren't all about the NBA. Yes, the dancers who were hired for the performance were always going to be paid. That was never a thing. Okay, this is all Super Bowl commentary. Let's see. They don't want to pay dancers to dance and entertain, but they will pay them to be the free social media for the organization. Our roles as professional dancers, cheerleaders, we know it's broad as F. And I just think if the people who are going to be invited to audition to be a part of this team are only bring a certain skill set to the table of being a social media influencer and I guess a dancer who's good enough to dance for Fatima, like I don't know. I don't know. Okay, facts, which is why I never understood the lack of pay and why pro dancers are not covered under a union. It's even even social media influencers are covered under SAG now. Y'all go back and listen to my union episode. I've been talking to y'all about unionizing forever. I've been trying not to bring it up every chance I get, but I told you guys over and over again that like we're just going to be sitting ducks waiting for the next team to get disbanded and get all up in arms and everybody's all like pissy, but it's like, if we don't organize to like, think of the news. I hope you guys are following. Like, so many companies, Starbucks, freaking Amazon, like, people are getting hip to the shit and they're deciding that they need to actually unionize to actually have any sort of collective rights for these major corporations. And I don't know why we don't get on the bandwagon, but I won't give up hope. I'm just gonna wait, I guess, and keep getting pissed off and drinking bottles of rosé when shit like this happens. Okay, let's see. All right, I'm caught up on I'm caught up on comments over here. Okay. I hope this doesn't influence other teams such as the Laker girls, Heat dancers, etc. to go this route. It seems it could be a mess. Yes. Um, Somebody's saying, but then who gets invited to this private audition? Sure, agencies, but what are they going to do? Search for dancers with a crazy amount of followers? What's the criteria? We don't know. What was communicated to the dancers was just that they wanted people with a large social media following. So what they're looking for in terms of dance qualifications, how large of a following, I don't know. I don't think that these existing Knicks City dancers were set up for success in terms of knowing how they could even really qualify. I mean, submit a video, but I don't know. All right, I'm going into my notes, y'all. I'll keep looking. I'll just try to, otherwise we'll be here till like 10 o'clock at night. Okay. So I got into Fatima's background and how dope she is. Okay. And this is not up for debate to me. I think her talent has been long established. And I think she could do a lot creatively to provide some form of game day entertainment. But I want to talk to you guys about the issues that I see, okay? Because it's not that Fatima can't figure out, because she's brilliant, how to take a production that is on a major stage like a Super Bowl football field or like a Grammy stage, an Oscar stage. But when you're working with a basketball court, where we are talking about a little bit of a different vision or visual as to how these performances come to life. It's still an arena environment where people are looking down on the court to watch the performances. It's not from a courtside view unless you're relying on all of the cameras that are within the arena to like create this little package of like the highlight reel of the performance with the different angles that you're trying to get. But this is definitely not that her skills are not transferable into the pro sports world, but this is just a different venue, okay? And we've talked plenty about different teams that have moved from taking different styles or whatever and tried to apply them to an NFL football field when the shit just doesn't translate. I've mentioned that till I'm blue in the face. I stand by it. It can look very chaotic and a hot mess when you see all these transitions and people. It just looks messy because it's not that kind of a view of the performance and the dance, and it gets lost, and it looks like people, I don't know, it just looks messy and it doesn't always translate. And so I also just think, you know, it's not, you have 44 plus home games during the season, and I don't know what they're anticipating these 8 people to do for 44 plus games, or if these dope ass ideas that Fatima might come up with for a performance, like, these are major, like when you look at her credentials, these are like major events. You know what I'm saying? She's done commercials. She's done so many things on the directing side, not just choreographer, you guys. So I know from a creative perspective that she probably has the vision to chop it up, whether it's a commercial that's 30 seconds long or some big long production for Super Bowl halftime. It's not that I don't think that she would be able to distill it down to a routine for like a minute, 15 seconds that our NBA routines are, or maybe a halftime performance at an NBA game. It's just that it's just a different venue. You don't have time for a setup. There's no sets involved. This is not like the Super Bowl halftime where you can kind of tell this story through props and different, you know what I'm saying? It's not that kind of a production, and you don't have time for that. You're interrupting gameplay with a timeout or even a halftime, and you don't really have a lot of, production value that you can put into these performances. It's just not that easy. You got to get on and off the court. You guys are zipping on out. I've been to enough games, okay? You guys are zipping out there. You're doing your thing, and you got to get the hell off. There's a million people on the damn court along the sideline. Like, it's a lot. And I just think, I'm sure she's been to games professionally. It paused, so I'm going to wait. And I hope it paused. I hope I'm still talking, like the sync is up so you can see my mouth moving when I'm talking. But I'm just saying that it's a different animal and beast when you're talking about game day entertainment, right? Um, and again, these concepts that Fatima would have to generate for this group of 8 plus backup dancers, group of people, she would have to be kicking this shit out pretty regularly, right? Like you can't just do the same routine night after night after night. You might have 3 to 4 home games kind of in a row ish. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like, practice time, rehearsals, like court rehearsals, things to do all the staging and all the things that go into a production like that. how do you manage that for, like I said, 40 plus games, especially with such a small number of people as that are part of this team? Like, how do you do that with 8 freaking influencers? And like that means y'all know your whole world revolves around these sports teams when you take these jobs. It's not like a hit it and quit it situation. You are in a full blown relationship with them. And, if the influencers are true influencers, they have maybe other brand deals and other shit that they got going on. And do they really have the bandwidth for the commitment is what I'm questioning. And how do you do that with like 8 freaking people? I don't freaking know. We'll find out, I guess. But what else do I want to say? Okay. So you have like, it's not clear what the titles are. I don't know if Alyssa's still going to be involved as the director, as a coach, or what. If Fatima is like a creative director that's working in conjunction with someone who's managing the team. But creative direction and director of a team are two different things. Obviously, she's got the experience of her ensemble, for lack of a better way of putting it, whoever she works with for tours or productions. Yes, that's kind of like a team dynamic and environment. But there's kind of like the management aspects, the administration, the appearances, like all these other things like that go into it. And so I don't really know how this is all going to be managed. Again, you're just talking about rehearsal time, and you're talking about 8 people to manage this all. It just doesn't make sense how that's going to work. I have talked to too many directors when they're literally trying to piece, I don't know the magic and how they do it, where they are trying to manage the different schedules and the timing and when you have access to the court and when you don't. Like, it's a production. And I just think, wow, this will be interesting. And I just don't understand why they didn't hire her as a creative director for a regular ass season for the Knicks City Dancers, where they could have tried out her concepts on this already amazing group of women. Like, why couldn't that happen? Like, all the teams hire different, not all of them maybe, but a lot of teams hire choreographers to help out with content during the season. And if you wanted to have like an official creative director for the entire season, you're going to change up the performances and you're going to do this and do that. Like, that would have been palatable, right? I would have absorbed that without drinking a whole damn bottle of like rosé. But I don't understand why that just was not even an option. Why you have to like wipe the slate clean, wipe the slate clean, get rid of all these dancers, um, and go this direction in this manner. I'm gonna pause because I don't know if I missed anything. Why do we have to fix things that weren't broken? I don't know. This was definitely not a team that, I'm sure you guys were very shocked. This is not a team that seemed to be struggling, that didn't have a strong following on social media their damn selves, that didn't have good quality content, super talented. Like, I don't understand what needed to be fixed, or who decided it needed to be fixed, but it didn't. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. I want to talk about the intersection of the commercial dance industry and the professional cheer and dance industry, right, that we're in. Because what I think of when I see this type of change is just that our jobs, our role, it ends up becoming like an industry job, which I'm not looking down on it. They're just different. They're different. The requirements are different to some extent. The commitment's different. And if you end up having from your, like as a pro team, go from having open auditions that are geared towards everybody that make up this community, right, to, you know what, I want industry dancers or influencers to comprise my team, like you're really just, that has a lot of impacts to how we all train for these roles, like what the role actually means. Like, we know that it's so much more than that. And if we end up getting reduced to like backup dancers or, social media influencers, or you don't even really have to dance that great, I just want to see what your following is on social media, like that is completely impacting our space. Damn, it's already 7:45 and I'm still going. Okay, let's see. Erasing the history of such an iconic team is very disheartening. I completely agree. Um, I just think that like I get excited when I see pro dancers that are on teams making the transition to kind of doing commercial jobs. Like Kayla, that's where I was going to mention you, just performing at the BET Awards for the first time and Winter from the Brooklyn Nets just performed as well at the BET Awards with Chloe Bailey, and you were dancing with LMA. Like, this is all exciting stuff, and I think it makes sense for dancers from this space in the dance team world to kind of move to a commercial career because you have so much experience with performance. I mean, there's a whole transition. Go back and listen to Kayla's episode, like I said. But I just worry about the impact of the selection process to create teams in our space moving in the direction of having closed auditions, essentially like private auditions, like through agencies now versus like people, you know how we do. We have headshots. People put a lot of energy into our audition prep protocol, and but it's very different to feel like you already need to have an agency already, that you need to have a social media following, and that you have to be like invited to even participate in the like that's game changing, I think, in our space. And I don't think any of us are really truly ready for it. There is a way to make that transition, I think, from pro dance teams to like commercial industry work. But if our teams start looking at commercial industry dancers as where they're going to cherry pick to make a team, then we got a freaking problem. Okay, we got a problem. We got to do. Does everybody agree with that? I think we got a problem. I was just thinking again of the people who've been preparing for the Knicks City auditions, like wanting, or Knicks City Dancers auditions, wanting to make the move, um, specializing in the techniques and the style that they saw. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a months long preparation process. And my heart really goes out to you because of the lack of opportunities. You went from like 20 plus women that were on the team, 8 spots that you probably aren't going to get because your ass ain't invited. You don't have the Jets anymore as a team. The Rockettes is a particular style as well. You ain't got the damn Buffalo Bills. They've been gone since they unionized. And then you have the Brooklyn Nets, which again is a very specific style and vibe that I think you really got to be bringing to make that team. And it's just, again, eliminating opportunities for people to dance, and it pisses me off. Um, let's see. I just want to talk about how the structure of this team with 8 influencers and background dancers. Again, I probably mentioned it earlier with all the jibber jabber with other comments, but like, it's just again a little bit of a slap in the face because of how big of an attraction the Knicks City Dancers, like their performance quality and what you saw in their performances was just money, like entertaining, clean, like it's like a little Broadway performance right in front of you, but not Broadway, but like just a very professional level dance performance, entertain, like just impeccably done. Shout out to you guys because you really look damn good, and you have had that standard for the longest time, and everybody in this community knows it, respects it, etc. I don't understand how you take a team at that caliber and then you reduce them to a background dancer kind of a role. I don't give a fuck. Sorry, guys. I was gonna say I don't give a crap who the influencers are. I don't think y'all need to be dancing back up for the only time that I still got hyped about y'all being backup dancers was when I was at the Brooklyn Nets games and I saw you guys, like, I mean, I don't remember the artists who performed at halftime, but yes, if Little Kim comes through, if Busta Rhymes comes through to your game because you're in New York or you're in a city that's got, celebrities following through and they want to do a little halftime performance and y'all are the backup dancers for that, okay, that's acceptable. I'm here for that. I think that makes sense to me. But some influencers and y'all being backup dancers to that does not float my boat at all. And again, whoever these people are that make up this team, I don't know how you're going to tackle on the responsibility of all the other things that come into play and what's expected of us when we represent these teams. Like, don't tell me you guys are going to create like a Knicks City dance, like Knicks City promo hype squad that's going to do all the goddamn appearances out there in the community. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like creating a team of promo girls. Like, who's going to do the ambassador shit that your NBA players are not going to do? And let me just talk about, okay, that's probably the next page. Okay, all over the place. I also just want to, let me stay in line here. I want to talk about equitable pay because whoever these people are that make this team, assuming they are some of the current Knicks City Dancers or whatever, I hope you have an agency to represent you so that you actually get the pay that's appropriate for the commitment that you will be making to be one of eight to, plus backup dancers kind of a production. That's your whole world. If you had a freaking full-time job, or if you had other things going on, more than likely that's not sustainable with what will be demanded of you to keep up with the pace of a 40 plus game NBA season. And if you're thinking, oh, this is an amazing opportunity, work with Fatima Robinson and la 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 la, and you don't make sure that you are getting it benefits plus a salary to kind of match that kind of work, then I do not know what to say. As you were auditioning, you're excited to be there, you got your little lucky ass invite, but like make sure that you are actually going to be compensated for what lies ahead of you, which is a hot ass mess. They wiped their Instagram. Yes, they did, y'all. Okay, moving on. Anything else? KCD is the high-end luxury store with their change could be a lower than low budget TJ Maxx. We don't know. I mean, I want to have faith. Like Fatima's not going to put out something completely janky, but it just depends on who her talent is, right? Maybe she has people that she has in mind for this gig from people that she's worked with before who do have a big following on social media. Maybe it is a cherry pick team to bring her concept to life. I don't know. But again, it's like it's this production that she might put on plus a hell of a lot. And again, you better be getting paid for it. Okay, so now I'm going to get into the Knicks organization as a whole, because when we see these changes again, that are picking at a program comprised of women, so much interest and investment, because I know they're paying this woman a good amount of money for this opportunity, right? Um, it needs to kind of like, there needs to be like a business case or something that ties into like the problem that they were trying to solve. And maybe it's not from the perspective of like, we didn't like the routines that you were doing. If there is some sort of like commercial rationalization as to why this change is necessary, you got to really think about like what that would look like, right? Maybe Knicks City Dancers and the entertainment that they're putting out doesn't really appeal to this market that we think we really need to get in the seats at games. So we need to try to appeal to this. Like it needs to like follow some sort of what am I trying to say here? Like it needs to make sense. Like there needs to be a case study. You need to know who you're actually trying to target with this type of a change and how it's going to impact your bottom line and why so much emphasis is placed on what the Knicks City Dancers are doing as a program. Like your actual entertainment Knicks organization is your freaking below 500 basketball team. Okay. Like that's your product. That's the actual event that your fans are supposed to be coming to games to see. It's the freaking basketball game. I get where we fit into the bigger picture of it all. Yes, we are game day entertainment, but we are not the draw and pull of what's going to get people in seats. It's supposed to be your basketball team and how they perform on the court, okay? And so to the extent you want to focus on the other aspects of your game day entertainment, at least make the changes that you're trying to make to that team align with who you're trying to reach. Like, and make it make sense and at least be able to justify or have some sort of substantiation for why that's not currently happening with the team that you already freaking have, that you've had for 30 plus years. What shifts can you make with the existing team that unlocks that potential so that you can reach more people? Okay, god dang it, see now I'm on a god dang rant and I need to catch some comments, so I'm going to pause and find it and then drink and read them. Okay, let me see. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna calm down, y'all. I try not to get all hyped, but then I get hyped. Okay. Knicks City Dancers is one of the top dance teams. What is the rationale? Is she coming on board as the director, or is she solely responsible for creating the framework and developing this new concept and leaving it in someone else's hands to do on a daily, game by game basis? That I don't know. The wording of the announcement was kind of under the creative direction of Fatima Robinson. That does not suggest director. And we saw with Petra Pope coming into the Washington Commanders situation that, was kind of similarly positioned as, she was kind of being like the creative director ish of the change that was facilitated for that program. She is around still, and there's a coach ish. I don't know exact titles here, but I think it is a big difference of it's like, here's the vision and here's the choreography and kind of like the concepts that we're going to showcase on the court. And then somebody else manages that again, from like the rehearsals to just all the HR stuff to appearances, like managing the team, the brand, like all of the things that I know these NBA directors are busting their ass to do. I don't see Fatima taking all of that on. Like she would be turning down industry work to be able to keep up with that kind of a role. And I don't know if that's what she signed up for. I don't know. But I'm really just picking on the Knicks organization just because to the extent they don't have like just a game plan. And like here it is July, the games start up in October, making this kind of a drastic shift. And again, me knowing some background shit of what this actually looks like, I'm really questioning how much thought was put into this because to me, it's like the Knicks already, okay, I'm reading all over the place. To me, it's like the Knicks already have New York City and Madison Square Garden as a drawing point for their games. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think again, when you think about the Knicks City, I'm not an expert on Knicks City Dancers brand, but from what I saw from doing my playoffs a couple years ago and really looking at a lot of content across the NBA, they gave you, it was like a feeling for that moment that they were on the court, that it was like a not a Broadway show performance, but you just felt like you were treated to like a little snippet of a show. And they just kind of brought that showmanship. And, I just don't really know what was lacking in terms of just the connection with the audience of like who's sitting down in their seats and like a shift to having influencers on the court for a game break. Who are you trying to reach? Like, is the influencers market that they're influencing, are they at Knicks games? Are they going to go to a Knicks game because of freaking influencer A and their backup dancers? I mean, where does this translate? How does it end up bringing money into the organization? I don't get it. Okay. I don't get it. I don't think it results in butts and seats at games. At the end of the day, I think maybe, yes, you have a little bit more social media content and you can be like, ooh, 8 influencers plus some backup dancers did this little performance. I mean, you guys aren't even willing to pay for freaking the music licensing rights so that you can promote the shit that they do dance wise on social media. So, like, what are we really doing? Okay, seems like the pro dance industry is focusing on social media slash content creation versus the traditional game day experience. Point well taken. And I get again, if we are going to move in the social media content, concept, video space and lane, how does that translate to money coming into the organization? I'm not clear on that part. I'm just not clear at all on making this significant of an investment where you're hiring a woman of this caliber, you're trimming down your staff to like 8+ or so people, and you're going to have to pay them, I hope, accordingly so that they can devote all of that time to building this brand of this new remixed team. It just doesn't really add up of like what benefit that you're seeking at the end of the day and what fan base that you're actually trying to touch. And there's no clear path as to how changing this dance team to this significant level is going to result in them being at games, spending money on content, buying merchandise. Like, where's the connection from a commercial standpoint? I don't see it. Okay. The last point. Is this really the last page of all my shit talking? Let me okay. The last thing I'm going to say about that, just for the Knicks organization, because I'm tired of this constant like desire, I skipped a page clearly, to reimagine, revolutionize, like change the game day experience. Like the wording that they're saying is like, we will be presenting a totally reimagined version of what it means to dance center court in Madison Square Gardens. Like, what? We people, again, I'm just going to say, people are going to a basketball game of a kind of a losing team, no offense, um And maybe they are really desperate to try to like improve the entertainment factor because people are going to a game where the team has a less than 0.50 record, and they feel like they need to provide more entertainment to keep people coming to these games. But you're not at the freaking circus, you're not at the zoo, you're not at Cirque du Soleil, you are not in Vegas at a residency, you know what I'm saying, where you're going to be looking for some showmanship. Like Madison Square Gardens has lots of events that come through their building. Like, and I get, if you have somebody who's going to be at a concert down, later in the week, make them perform with your Knicks City Dancers, make it a thing. But like trying to like revolutionize what game day entertainment, can we just fucking calm down with that? Like, what are we really like? This is not World of Dance. This is not a TV show. Um, like it's getting out of control and out of hand. Dance is something that just does not need all of this like fixing and mixing and freaking like it's dance, and there's nothing wrong with what the Knicks City Dancers actually bust their ass to do and train so hard to do. Like, look at their freaking go on YouTube and go to whatchamacallit, like the guy. There's some accounts, you know what I'm saying? I forget what the hell they're called now. SoCal Dancers or whatever the hell it's SoCal Teams, and there's some shit on YouTube where you can actually watch some videos. But like to the extent you don't know, the quality of performances across the NBA in general are really top notch. And again, it's just like I don't know what kind of why we're like trying to up the ante to some unknown higher level of reimagined shit. Like we're still talking about an interruption in gameplay that's going to happen for a minute and 20 seconds ish, maybe 3 minutes or so for a halftime performance. But like, what are we really trying to do here? And if you go down the influence around, are we going to be dumbing it down to like the freaking TikTok video where they're making all these stupid faces and doing all these little cute little moves? Like, is that a fucking performance that I want to see at a basketball game? Okay. Yes, I'm just not happy. I'm not happy in general with this week. I feel like it's just all connected to just an all out like war on women at the moment. The lack of respect that's being shown to the women for this program that has been around for 30 years. I think they've established a tradition of excellence. They do give some nod to that with this statement, but the actions don't add up to we have enough respect for what you've built to incorporate you in the new division, in the new direction that we're going. I think this could have been a beautiful collaboration. Fatima's amazing, and this could have been a beautiful collaboration if there was space for that. Um, the wiping the slate clean, I guess I'm just gonna say it. It. There's something else at play. Okay, and wait until y'all can figure out all of the real deal Holyfield of what's going on. It's going to make even less sense. That's all I can promise you. But there's something else at play here to explain this. Sometimes with organizations, it's like there can be ego, there can be scandal, there can be so many different things that can influence such a sweeping ass change like this. I don't know for sure what's going on. I encourage people to reach out if you'd like to. Um, but I'm really upset. And I know a lot of you are. I think, again, it's just this last plug for any form of just organizing ourselves as an industry, because this type of stuff would not just be able to go down this way if we were actually protected with the union. And I just. I'm just really upset. This is not, again, just like other teams. This is not a team that we would have expected to see in this position. And I don't think anybody's safe. I think I see a lot of great things going on with programs throughout the NBA, throughout the NFL. But if somebody decides at a whim, like, you know what, this new thing over here is popping, we're going to wipe clean what you've been doing and we're going to go in a completely different direction. And then your whole tradition of 30 plus 60 plus whatever years is gone. Like, aren't we over this already? Like, I really can't keep drinking rosé and talking shit enough about how this is just not okay. And I just want to say to you guys, like, one, I'm sorry that this happened. Number two, we all have enough respect for each other as a community to know that this is not right. To value what you actually bring to the table and what your blood, sweat, and tears has done to like even build this reputation in our community. I'm so sorry that there is not an acknowledgement of that by your own damn organization. Um, what's the real answer for us, in terms of moving in a different direction? At this point, we're going to get cut out of the industry that we even created. You won't even get a chance to freaking audition and even make the teams that they're changing. I mean, where is this going for us? And I just think, even from an equity perspective, like, not everybody lives in a market where they can have some talent agency represent them. And, like, if this shifts in our space in this manner, I just think, for everybody who's trying so hard to perfect themselves and prepare for auditions, if this is where other teams go, um, you're gonna get left behind. And that's not cool, man. Like, I get the transition that dancers in our space make to the commercial side. And yes, you will need an agency. And yes, there are certain steps that you take. But to make an NBA or NFL or other professional sporting leagues dance teams, granted, I'm being dramatic. I don't know how much of a shift this will be, but I hope people really wait and see how this shit pans out before they're jumping on the bandwagon. You guys want to hear my conspiracy theory? And before I go, make sure I didn't miss anything. Influencers have a role in pro sports marketing, but they should be supplemental, not central to the traditional pro dance team. Very, very, very well said. Somebody says they're limited on time, timeouts and halftime. And, how do you really show off all these technical skills and, you know, all of the things? I'm probably not getting these comments perfect, but damn it, I get it. My conspiracy theory is, again, just based on some of the things that I know that I can't really share yet, is just that, when I look back at the last season, um, you know, if you're looking at the New York market in particular, I think the Brooklyn Nets definitely got a lot of publicity. They had some articles written about their, both teams have. Like, Knicks City Dancers have received a ton of press. Brooklyn Nets stuff also received a lot of press, I think, this past season. And I don't know how much they're really competing for kind of like being that it team or what have you. But my conspiracy theory is that the success of musical acts coming through the Brooklyn Nets, what did you call that? Barclays Center, and their dancers being incorporated pretty much in almost like every performance that I saw. I just think they just had that. They put together these performances with these artists in a way that was it just worked. You know what I'm saying? And there's all this buzz and like the social media and all of this and that. So I don't know. It's my conspiracy theory, but I just think that, they're figuring out how to take it even more to that next level. And if you aren't pulling artists coming through to watch a Knicks game, because who wants to do that? Not for nothing, but who wants to do that? Then maybe you think that having social media influencers are going to influence people to want to come to a game and watch them dance with other people. We'll see how that goes. The people aren't even going to be drawn to the game, even knowing that somebody as dope as Fatima is actually the mastermind behind it. Like, I think she's going to do something incredible. We'll wait and see. But again, is that enough to have people come into 44 plus games? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. That's my rant, y'all. I'm glad I didn't end up pouring a second glass of rosé. That would have been extra. Yeah. If you guys have any last thoughts on this, that's my conspiracy theory. I just think there's a little spirit of competition of like, how do we up the ante? And I think, at the end of the day, they're trying to go beyond the call of duty. Apparently, I'm reconnecting. I just think they're going over and beyond in a way that's really drastic and detrimental to these women that have made this team up. For anybody who's out there listening from the Knicks City Dancers, my heart goes out to you. I'm really, really sorry this happened. I think you guys have done such a phenomenal job over the years under your leadership of your coaches and directors. You guys have set a very beautiful standard, and I'm pissed that it's not being respected as such. If you guys want to vent confidentially, I'm always here. Again, there are messages and conversations that I can't speak on that hurt my heart. But trust and believe when it's public, I'll come back and we'll talk more. But that's my cheer chat. You guys, please know this is the last season of the podcast. There's nothing more that I would love to do than just share good news all day long. I was planning to just do an update on the rest of the NFL squads, talk about the episode today, and just, try to act like what happened last week with Roe v. Wade didn't happen, just trying to breathe positive. But stuff like this happens, and then I'm dropping F bombs and drinking rose and really struggling to make sense of it all. So I thank you all for bearing with me. I'll share more as soon as it's public enough to share. Stay tuned. I'm dying to know how you guys will react to what this ends up looking like. Any other comments for the cause before we go? I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Tried to touch on everything. Thank you so much for all the comments. I will see you guys next week, and hopefully we'll have some more information and some good news to talk about. But I'm always here, and you guys know that you can shoot me a DM or whatever, and we'll talk about it. We'll process it together. Please go listen to the She Got the Moves episode. I feel like that's what it was called. You know that song that I can't fucking sing. Watch that. Listen to the Union episode, you guys. There's lots of information for you in there that kind of just break down what that could look like for our space. And with that, I'm going to let you guys have your evening. This sucks. I don't know what else to say.